Marianne Despres. Do I say it right?
You do very, very well said. Good accent.
Is there an accent aigu on the second E
There,
of the?
there is not.
There is not?
No.
Oh, I always thought there was an accent. No?
Maybe back in the day, but not currently.
Okay. So how do people say it in the US? Despres? Despres?
Right?
Despres. Okay. Well, okay. Good.
Yes.
Marianne, I'm very happy to have you with l'apéro o'clock.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's a pleasure. So we do this every week. We try to be on time. As you can see here, it says 5. Today we're not bad. We started at 5:05. And it's not your fault, Marianne. It's always my fault. But I'm getting better at this. And hopefully in a month from now, 2 months from now, I will really start at 5, like it says here.
Okay.
But Marianne, thank you for being with us. I really appreciate it. We know each other for quite a few years. A lot of French people know who you are as well, but some do not. And if you don't mind, what I'd like to do before asking you questions about what you do and who you are and other questions, I'd like to give a quick introduction on who you are. Then people know who I'm talking to. Is that okay with you?
Of course.
So Marianne Despres, you, you speak French and Spanish. So on pourrait faire l'interview en français, mais on le fait en anglais.
D'accord. Ou en espagnol.
Ou en espagnol. Mais muy Spanish es muy limitado. I'm not sure if we can say that.
D'accord. In English then.
English. I think English will be good. That will be the good one. And I will ask you why you speak French. We'll go to this Saturday.
Okay.
You studied at the University of the Pacific. You got a Bachelor of Arts of International Relations. Mm-hmm. And then you went to Le Cordon Bleu,
yes,
in Paris. And we talk about this as well. And then recently you did the Latino Entrepreneurship Initiative, education scaling program at the prestigious Stanford University. So where you got selected, and we will talk about this as well. Okay. So congratulations, because that's a very tough one to be selected and to be able to finish as well. And for the last 8 years, Marianne, you have been the owner. You started a great restaurant, a great food truck called El Sur, ELSUR. And you just emailed me your new logo, but your new logo, if I put it on, you're going to see how it looks like. It doesn't look as nice as what you sent me. We just see this. But well, that's so El Sur for the last 8 years. You've been the owner of the business. It really is now a staple in San Francisco. It's handmade empanadas, not only empanadas, but handmade empanadas. You got the Bay Area's 2020 Best Food Truck, and you were on the Big Eat list as well a few years ago. Mm-hmm. So you've been very successful, Marianne, and I have. Let's start with my first question. So you studied, how did these brought you to food? Where did the food passion came from? How did you get involved in the food business?
Well, as you said, I have a degree in international relations, and my original plan was to go into diplomacy. And
Wow.
you know, quickly, I lived abroad for a while doing that, and I had a change of heart, and so I came back to San Francisco, and I worked in advertising. Yes,
Could you tell us a bit more about that? So you live abroad. I didn't know. Where did you live?
in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia.
Really?
Yes,
For how long?
just for a summer.
Wow.
And I worked at the U.S. Embassy there, and incredible experience. It was, you know, I was very young, and being a woman over there is difficult, but it was a tremendous experience, and I kind of quickly learned that, you know, at that age, I really thought I could kind of change the world. And I realized very quickly that it's probably very hard to do that. And so I came home a little bit discouraged, and I wanted to do something in San Francisco. And at that time, you know, it was the late 90s, and great time to be living in the city. IPOs were happening every day. And so I got a job at an advertising agency here, and it was an amazing position, and really a lot of fun, and a good experience. But I really started to realize that I'm not an office person, a corporate person who can have a 9 to 5 job, you know, sitting behind a computer every day. I grew up, my family is from South America. My mom is Peruvian, an amazing cook herself. Food has been an integral part of my life since I was born. It's really just how I think in South America people show their love, through cooking and feeding people, and you know, just the whole dynamic of sharing a meal. And so it's always something that I've really enjoyed. And so I started thinking about going to cooking school, but my thought at the time was really I wanted to be a food writer. And so I looked at schools in New York and at schools in Paris. And I've always loved France. My grandfather is French. I saw it really as an opportunity for me to go and live there. And so that's when I literally packed everything up into 2 suitcases and moved to Paris. I went to the Cordon Bleu. It was a 9-month program, and then after that, part of the program is you have to do a stage or an internship. And so once I got to school, I really fell in love with being in the kitchen and cooking and working with chefs and the ingredients and learning about all of that. And in France, you know, it's ingrained and part of the culture, you know, is food and drink. So I completed the program, and my first stage I did was actually, you know, I knew I didn't want to be a chef, but I wanted to get the most experience possible. And so my first stage was actually at a pâtisserie. One of the chefs from the school left while I was still in the program to open his own shop. And so I went to join him, and he's a meilleur ouvrier de France, which is, you know, a huge distinction. And it was him, myself, and another stagiaire in his pastry shop, and we did everything. He did have a baker in the basement who made all the bread. But working there, we started at 6 in the morning, and I finished at 10 at night every day. I think we had 1 day off, which was like Monday. But it was crazy hours, very intense, you know, doing everything. But I learned a ton there. And after that, I went to work at a catering company called Potel et Chabot, which is a massive catering company in Paris. They do all the best events. We were doing dinners and lunches for the Élysée. Like it was really an amazing place. And they had 100 cooks in the kitchen, and I was one of 2 women there.
Oh, wow.
So that was an interesting experience for sure. But you know, all positive. It was definitely hard. It was tough. You know, I cried a lot when I got home, but amazing experience.
So how long were those 2 experiences for, those 2 internships for, each one?
Like 6 months each.
6 months each.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how you learn French. That's where you practice.
No, I actually started taking French when I was in 7th grade. And then I took it all through high school and all through college. I also I lived abroad in college in Toulouse
Okay.
for 6 months. I didn't get the accent, and so by the time I got to Paris, I was already pretty fluent in French. And it's very similar to Spanish, so I think that helped.
Were you surprised by the kind of food you had in Toulouse, or did you enjoy the food in Toulouse, which is very specific? Kind of food?
It's the ingredients are amazing. It's definitely very heavy, some of the things, but yeah, every region has their own specialty, and I think that's kind of the beauty is that there, you know, for in each place, it's the best that you can get in that place. So that's what makes it special.
What would you say about Le Cordon Bleu School in Paris? Do you think it's overrated? Do you think it's great? It's a great school to attend. Would you recommend it to anyone who is looking to go into the food business? Could you tell us about Cordon Bleu for people who don't know what it is?
Sure. You know, I think, well, it's a very old cooking school. It's one of the original ones. I think I would definitely recommend going to the one in Paris. You know, it's been licensed now, so you can find a Cordon Bleu kind of in every city in the world. And the curriculum, yes, is the same. But to me, the best part of cooking school were the chef instructors in Paris. And everything was in French. The chefs only spoke French. They had demonstration classes with a translator, but the chef was always speaking French. And the thing where I learned the most was just listening to their stories. And these chefs were all old school. Like they started cooking as apprentices when they were 13, 14 years old, you know, in the brigade system in France, which is very tough and very rigid and very strict. And so just hearing their stories of what they went through, but also, you know, a lot of them came from these families where food is just the most important part of your life. And their moms or their grandmothers are, you know, just everybody in their family making these amazing meals, and they all had their own specialties. Those stories were the best part of school, by far.
So Cordon Bleu can be found pretty much anywhere in the world, correct? That's the kind of now, but the original one, where was it? Was it in Paris?
In Paris, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Got it.
And that's the one that like Julia Child went to, the one in Paris. And yeah, so now the curriculum, I guess you can find the Cordon Bleu curriculum anywhere in the world, but the original school was in Paris.
For people who don't know, do you know who is Julia Child? She's a pretty big, I mean, I like to compare her kind of the Bocuse of the US.
Yeah.
She pretty much put the traditional, you know, cuisine in the US being a real subject or something that is real and not accessible to everybody.
Yes.
And, so yeah, Julia Child, I mean, people will know, but just, okay. So Le Cordon Bleu, and then I'm just following your story because it's interesting how you did different things. So recently, not too long ago, you were at Stanford University. Tell us about what program you did there and what is it? how come you're going back to school, talking food, and how it does match with what you do?
Yeah, so Stanford has this amazing program now, and it's for Latino business owners, entrepreneurs, and they select people from all over the United States, and they have a different cohort per year, and you get selected for this program, and you go to Stanford, and learn from the most amazing professors just about how to scale your business. So it's for people who are really looking to take their business to the next level. And it's a curriculum for a few weeks over the summer. It's very intense, which is hard because as an entrepreneur, you already don't have a lot of time, but somehow everyone figures out how to make time for it. And you have online learning, and then you're on campus as well. They match you with a mentor, and it's really about learning. I realized when we were at Stanford that there are all the business practices. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, but you can really take this knowledge and kind of apply it to your own personal situation. And so it was a great way for me not to only kind of figure out how to look at my business in the future and like how to get it to the place where I want it to be, but also becoming part of this network of other amazing entrepreneurs who are in the same position, and we're all kind of trying to figure things out and do the best job that we can.
So when you say it's over the summer, is it a 2-month, 3 or 4 months program?
It was a 2-month program.
2 months program.
Yeah.
And when you apply for it, you have a selection that is being done, correct? It's not because you apply that you will be part of it.
Yes, they have certain parameters that you have to fit. And then you submit an application, and then they select it.
They select it. Mm-hmm. Very good. So you find this helpful for you for the connection you had, as well as trying to make your brand larger and to have more, to make it a brand, right? To make it more like a more retail shop, more food truck, to grow your business.
Yeah, they have a lot of practical knowledge based on practical experience. So you look at a lot of case studies and like how other people have grown their businesses. Mm-hmm. And there are certain things that you need to do to get to that next level. And so they kind of set the foundation for that. But since I've graduated from the program, I've kept in touch with all the people that I was there with, and we really learned from each other, especially through COVID, because we're all struggling. We're all going through the same thing. It was all unexpected. And so it's been really interesting to see how everyone is kind of dealing with it in a different way. But we've completely relied on each other and asked each other for help and resources. And that has been, I think, the most beneficial part.
Very good. Well, thank you for the feedback. So if some people heard that, I'm going to say again, it's the Latino Entrepreneurship Initiative Education Scaling Program.
Yes.
And I have not talked about this, but I should have. I forgot. You've been advisory. The French thing. Advisory board member for La Cocina for the last 7 years.
La Cocina.
La Cocina, sorry, La Cocina. English and Spanish. And I've been here for a long time. Well, could you tell us about it? What is it about? What is this association? What is this group doing? Who are they helping out? I think, we've seen that in Francisco for quite a few years, but could you tell us more about this?
Yeah, so La Cocina is this wonderful organization. They're an incubator kitchen and kind of a mentorship for primarily women, immigrants who are in the food business and really just need help launching their idea into the world. And so as an advisory committee member, we sit on the board and listen to people with new ideas who want to become part of the program, and kind of analyze to see who is the best fit for the next stage of the program that they're having. And just seeing, you know, not only the innovation that people have of just their ideas, but the hard work that really goes into going into the food business and becoming successful at it, especially when you have very limited resources, is, you know, so commendable to see somebody kind of become successful from there. And so La Cocina, it provides a kitchen. It provides help with permitting, with setting up your LLC, with finding an accountant, doing a business plan, learning about marketing, operations, you know, everything that goes into operating a food business. They help you along the way. And so if you can become part of the program, it's a huge resource. And there have been so many successful women who come out of the program. And to me, you know, when I read, you know, on Eater or in the SF Chronicle about women who have graduated from the program and are opening their second location, or, you know, are going into whatever the next development of their business is, it's very rewarding.
Do you know how many people went through like La Cocina? Not La Cocina, La Cocina?
I don't. I don't know the number, so I don't want to try to guess.
But their program usually is for a few months, right? It should be like for 6 months or for a year when they have.
It's pretty long. It's more than a year, and it has like different phases. But it's, you know, it's a pretty long program from beginning to end.
Are they located in the Mission?
Yes.
Because we see them, I think they do a lot of festivals. We see their name pretty often.
Yeah, well, they were the ones who did the original San Francisco Street Food Festival, which was on their street on Folsom. And then that grew into this massive thing. And then they changed locations, and you know, obviously now it can't happen. But yeah, they have so many people support them, and it's really great.
Very good. Thank you for all the information about La Cocina.
Of course.
And not La Cocina, La Cocina, and being an advisory board member. I'm getting used to it. So let's talk about El Sur and your business that you have for the last 8 years. I'm going to put a picture as a background of just seen that truck. And that truck is your truck. So could you tell us about El Sur and how did you start with El Sur? What was the concept?
Yes, of course. So so after I left Paris, I came back here, and I was still, you know, kind of in the world of fine dining. And so my last stage was actually at the French Laundry here in Napa, in Yountville. And it was, again, incredible experience. It was back in the day where Thomas Keller only had the French Laundry. They hadn't opened Bouchon yet, or any of his other places. So he was there every day, and it was just the level of perfection there, and was amazing. So another great learning experience. But I kind of realized that I wanted to do something that was more personal and more kind of just who I am. And so with my family being from South America, my father's from Argentina, we grew up making empanadas for every possible occasion: birthday, wedding, Sunday asado. Anytime we got together with people, we made empanadas. And so I thought, that could be a good concept to have here in the Bay Area to share with people. And I wanted to kind of share that same thing that I love so much with everybody else. And so I took all the technique that I had learned in France and in my culinary education and mixed with what I already kind of knew. And I spent a year developing the recipes. The dough, we make everything in-house. Everything is by hand from scratch, so developing the dough took a long time. I wanted to really get that perfect combination of the dough being light enough and crisp, but also firm enough to hold all the filling inside. So it was a year in development, and I wanted to also find the perfect vehicle. And so the first time I saw a Citroën H-van was in Argentina at a polo match, actually. And there was a little H-van selling empanadas at this polo game. And I was like, that is the cutest thing I've ever seen. And so when I went to France, I saw them everywhere. And I was like, this is the perfect vehicle for my business. And so I actually did a lot of research. I ended up buying this one in France. I had it shipped to New Jersey, where they did the restoration, and it was completely restored, all with original parts, everything, I'm a purist, and I didn't want to change anything. So we used every single original bolt and everything in the engine and in the whole vehicle. And then put it on a flatbed and had it driven out here to San Francisco.
I remember that. How long did it took between picking? Because you had to go. How did you pick that van? Did you travel to France, or was it through? How did you buy the thing?
I had a guy who was looking for me. And so I originally bought one, but it was too small because I was also working really closely with the health department to try to make sure that I was going to be able to get this thing approved. And so the original one that I bought, I had to switch for this one because this one is an extended cab. And because we had to have enough room inside to fit all the equipment that is necessary for the health department to pass the inspection. We had to actually raise the roof. So they cut the entire roof, lifted it up, put, an extra in there and put it back on top. So it was a lot. It took over a year. To get it.
A year processing to get the right ingredients, the right balance, and to make the best empanadas possible, and a year to get a truck.
Yeah. It was a lot of work in the beginning.
Wow. Hey, Marianne, who was trying your empanadas? Who were the testers? Was it your dad and mom who were the ultimate empanadas testers?
No, because they like everything that I make. So I feel like they're a little bit biased. But I had friends trying them, and yeah, just mostly friends and family. It's a hard job.
Well, parents are always biased. Parents are always biased, right? They will always say that you're doing great things. But yeah. So who was testing it? Who were testing?
Friends and other family members. Yeah.
Good.
People would come visit, and just anyone who would try. I tried out different cuts of beef for the traditional, and so I would set up a whole table of it was almost like a focus group. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then I wouldn't tell them what was in each one, and then they would kind of give me their feedback, and we tailor it off of that.
You know that there is a San Francisco or Bay Area Citroën fan club.
I do know that, yes.
Did you meet with them? Did you do events with them? Did
We,
you?
we actually have done a few events. I think we did a couple in Oakland, and then they were also part of the Bastille Festival a couple years ago. Um, yeah, so we've gotten together a few times, and it's actually really nice to see all of the cars when they're together.
Yes, if you guys like old cars, if you like H vans, well, elsewhere you will see that truck. Could you tell us where this truck can be seen for people who want to buy the best empanadas in town and take an Instagram picture with an H van? Because that you won't see that very often in the city. Where should they go? Where can they see you? I know that right now it's it's a difficult time, so how can they do?
Right now, the H van is being restored again, and it will probably be finished in about a month. And then we'll see, right now our trucks are closed, and so we're not going out just for the health and safety of our staff and for everyone else. But we'll see. I can't tell you because right now it's not operating.
But in the past, was this truck at the Presidio?
Yeah, in the past we're with Off the Grid mostly, and so we're in the Presidio, and we do a lot of private events. So we've done tons of weddings and engagement parties, and you can book the truck for any event that you have.
So, could you tell us about? So you have a food truck, or you have two food trucks, right? You have one or two.
Two.
And then you have a store, a brick and mortar. You have a restaurant. Could you tell us where it is and how you are working now? Because with the COVID,
Yes.
how do we do if someone wants to try those best empanadas in the city? How where do they go?
Yeah, so COVID threw a giant wrench into our business, and we used to do a lot of corporate catering and private catering, and the trucks were going out every day in our cafe. It's in Potrero Hill at 300 Dajaro and 16th. And when COVID hit, our sales literally disappeared overnight. And so we had to be really quick in thinking like, okay, what are we going to do? So we're very fortunate that empanadas are a versatile product. And so we came up with the concept of selling boxes of frozen empanadas, and we deliver them all over the Bay Area. And you can get a box and, do mix and match whichever flavors that you like. We also have sauces. We have chimichurri and salsa criolla that you can include in your box, and we deliver it to your door. You can keep it in your freezer, and they take 30 minutes in the oven. And I think the most comments that we've gotten from people is just the convenience of it is great, especially right now where everyone is at home. You're feeding your kids, you're trying to work, and it's just a really easy meal that is wholesome and good. So that's been the most of the feedback that we've gotten. And we just recently started shipping to LA and all over California and Nevada. So even if you're not local, you can still get them. And our cafe is actually reopening the following Wednesday, the 22nd. So you can come and pick up hot empanadas for lunch or dinner, and you can get them delivered through Caviar.
So it's on Dajaro and 16th. So Potrero Hill at the bottom of the hill.
Bottom of the hill.
So you're not far from 101 and you're not far from 280. You're just at the corner.
Yes.
Right there.
Yeah, it's a great location.
It's a very good location, and it's even a good location for a little hike. If you are with your family or if you are on a date, you can go hike in Potrero Hill and get some empanadas on your way back home, or for lunch.
Yeah, definitely.
Or even you have the sweets one. The sweet are very, very good.
Yeah, we have the manzana, which is an apple empanada, which is actually inspired by my time at the patisserie in Paris. When I made like 1 million chaussons aux pommes.
Chaussons aux pommes, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that because when we had it here with my family, I was like, dude, it's like a chausson aux pommes, but better. It's smaller and it was so good. My kids love it. They're like, well, we can eat that every day.
Oh, good.
Yeah, yeah. So no, yeah. So for anyone who has not tried the empanadas, number one, if you have not never tried empanadas, well, it's a very good place to start. I would probably say the best place to start.
I have some right here.
There you go.
Hold on.
And they're, I mean, they look great. And you know what you can do? I mean, with the salty one, add a bit of salad, with tomatoes on the side, fresh, and with rosé, with wine, with cider as well, with beer. So you can eat that with pretty much any drinks. I mean, there is no drink that will not go with empanadas. And you have salty. So could you tell us about your what you do, all the empanadas you're offering, or the most popular ones? What are the most popular empanadas that people are getting from you?
Yeah, of course. And in Argentina, empanadas is like pizza. There's an empanada shop on every corner, and you get them delivered in a box, just like pizza. When you're watching a game or getting together with friends or whatever, because you can get all different varieties. So our most popular one is the traditional, which is hand-cut beef. And the second most popular is probably the champiñones, which is mushroom and peas, and really good. But we have beef, chicken, ham and cheese. The ham and cheese is called the Parisien because it's kind of inspired by the just sandwich in Paris, jambon gruyere. And then we have a verde, which is Swiss chard spinach and peas. We have a couple breakfast ones with egg and potato.
Very good too.
The sweet one, which is manzana.
Very good. Well, so you're offering everything for everybody. I mean,
yeah, and we're working on a gluten-free one and a vegan one. So
wow,
those two are coming.
That's going to be successful.
Yeah, I think so.
It seems that a lot of people now are gluten-free. I'm not there yet, but soon. I'm thinking of it. So, your mom is from Peru. Your dad is from Argentina. And how does this work as far as football?
Oh, no question.
There you go.
I'm a albiceleste fan. No, for sure. Argentina all the way.
Look who I brought for you. I'm sorry, I should have put him with the Argentinian jersey.
Yeah.
He has a Barcelona jersey.
It's okay.
But well, if you take my stripes and you put them like this, you can look Argentinian.
Yeah, growing up watching football with my dad was a highlight. And back then, Argentina was good, which they still are, and we still have hope. But it was always just magical watching a football match with my dad.
Would you say that in Argentina, empanadas is as important as soccer? Is that really staples of the country?
Yes.
Okay. Very well. So now let me ask you more questions. How did you do to be nominated Bay Area's best food truck in 2020? Is it because of your amazing team? Because I know that you have amazing people who work with you that are really dedicated. Is it because because that's a tough one. There are a lot of food trucks in the city. I mean, a lot. What do you think? How do you think your success? How did you become so successful? I mean, because that's really not easy to achieve.
Yeah, I don't know how they do their selection, but we've been chosen a few times, and I think we have a good product. And yes, it's all because of my team. I have the same group of women in the kitchen who have been with me almost since the beginning, and they work very hard. And I think what makes the difference is that they really, our place is like a family, and we know each other very well. It's an amazing work environment. We, laugh and eat together, and I think just the good energy goes into the food. And but it's definitely hard. They're hand making everything, and people don't realize how much work goes into making an empanada. Like, not just the dough alone is a very lengthy process, and chopping onions and hand cutting the beef and grating the cheese, and in really big volume. And then that's just prepping, and then actually cooking everything, and then the assembly. It's a really time consuming process. So I hope that people can appreciate all of the labor that goes into each empanada, because it is a lot of work.
We should do a video. We should do a video that shows the process. I don't think people understand that.
Yeah, because we don't take any shortcuts, and I don't want to. We obviously, the easy way is to kind of get machinery to help and kind of make everything more automized, but we do everything by hand, and I think that's what makes the product so good, because they're not all the same. Like, each one is unique, and they all those imperfections, I think, are what make them so good.
Well, we should do a video of this.
Definitely.
Yes. Do you know, if you had to take one empanadas, I mean, I know that you're making not just one, you're making a bunch every time. But how long would it take to make one empanadas from scratch to being baked? What is roughly, how long will it take between the time you do the dough, you do the cutting, you add those up?
Several hours.
Several hours.
But of course, you're not going to just make one,
Yeah, no, yeah. Or a very big one.
Right, exactly.
Very well. So tell us about we talked a little bit about the COVID and how you went through it. So hopefully, I think right now the city of San Francisco is kind of postponing restaurants to open indoor. They're kind of food trucks is not there yet. What do you think? What do you think? And what do you think will happen? When could you have those trucks back, in those parks with off the grid? When can you fully reopen? You hope for, I mean, the earlier the better, but realistically, what does it look like?
Yeah, well, I think through this whole process, what I've learned is that we can't plan anything, because there are so many unknowns. Things change day to day. So for us, the safety of our staff and our guests is the number one. So we're not in a rush to reopen fully. I don't plan to have the trucks out again probably at all this year. Our cafe is reopening, but only for takeout and delivery. We're not going to have any dine-in. And that's really, and we're trying to work with our ordering platform so that we can have a completely contactless transaction. Because, limiting interaction is really what is going to be the key to help, get this thing hopefully out of the way soon. And so we've also just in our kitchen, we have a split shift. And so we never have more than 2 or 3 people in our kitchen at the same time. And again, the safety for us is the number one priority. So we're not in a rush. We're going to take it day by day. Just try to keep doing what we're doing now. And the delivery of the frozen boxes has been great for us. And I think it's been very well received, and people are enjoying the service. So we're just going to try to keep that going for the long run. And then again, safety is our number one goal.
Very good. Well, listen, I'm not sure if I have more questions about El Sur. What means El Sur? Why El Sur?
El Sur means the South in Spanish.
Okay.
And I got the idea because we would go to Argentina a lot growing up, and I remember my aunt had a magazine called Sur, and it was this really interesting. It was like a literary magazine, and they always had really interesting articles, and that name always just kind of stuck in my mind. And I wanted something simple that wasn't too difficult for people to understand. And it's kind of just a nod to the South, the Southern Hemisphere, and like where Argentina is.
Okay. Well, as you can see, my Spanish is so good that I don't know. Well, la cocina, la cocina, we are learning as we go. Yeah. So, why did you decided to change your logo? You just emailed me an hour ago your new logo, and I was curious to see what was the process and why did you decide to change the logo of your business? Because you had the same logo for 8 years.
Yeah. Well, I wanted, you couldn't really see the icon, but I wanted an icon that really represented the business, something really simple that had elements of what our brand is about. And so when you see the logo, you can kind of see a sun, which, is very indicative of Argentina. And, but again, it was really kind of the simplicity of it that I wanted. Our product is very simple. It's something that everybody can enjoy, and something that's kind of really rooted in the basic, I think, good qualities of good ingredients and the handmade aspect of it. And so I wanted a logo that reflected all of that. And so that's what we came up with.
Well, I think it's very nice. I'm sorry I was not able to download the whole thing. The logo, this is just part of the logo.
Yeah.
There is a lot more to it, and the color is not like that either.
No,
it's a start. It's a hint.
Yes. Yes. You can see it on our website.
Yeah, I am the website. So your website is elsoursf.com?
Yes.
So
elsoursf.com, you can go on there and you'll see the links for online ordering. And are we going to talk about the little promotion that?
Yeah, well, why not if you want, yeah.
So if you're listening now, and when you go on and you order your box, you can put in the code l'apéro, so L''APERO, and then you can get 10% off the whole month of July on your order.
Thank you very much. This is cool.
Yeah, my pleasure.
This is not only cool. Once you eat it, it's great. It's the best empanadas. So yeah, well, thank you. That's very nice of you. Thank you, Marianne.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Marianne, we are reaching almost the hour mark. Is there anything new? Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about it.
Oh.
We were talking about football. I was thinking to do a transition about Pope Francis. Before I forgot, I just put it here. Hello, Pope Francis. Before we part ways, is there anything you want to share with people watching us? Share with the group, let people know. It is very important that we support local businesses. Marianne has been very successful. Like most, like all the restaurants, COVID-19 has been a disaster. And they need, if we can support them, we should support them. And it's awesome. It really tastes so good. If you don't know empanadas, well, you're gonna love it. And so please make sure to stop by to order online elsur, LELSURSF.com. It comes frozen. You can just have to reheat it in your oven. It's very quick. It's very good. I eat it for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Or snack.
You can,
or a snack.
Or snack. Yeah, empanadas, you can eat them. every time is a good time. So that's the beauty of it.
Mm-hmm.
So you should really try it and support Marianne, support also. That will be super nice. You know, we are a tight community. We need to help each other. If you were to help also, you will be helping Lapero as well. So make sure to go online or to go to the store when it opens, not in 2 weeks, in 10 days. 10 days from now? Yeah, 2 weeks. In Potrero Hill, if you are in Potrero Hill, stop by. It's on D Harrow and 16th. So do you have anything to add, Marianne? Any last words you would like to let people know about? Or?
I was just going to say the same thing. Really, thank you to everybody who have continued to support us, because the tremendous amount of support and even just kind words that people have sent, emails saying, wow, your empanadas are making COVID, okay, or just helping feed my kids for lunch, or just little things like that have been really meaningful for us. And just continue to support your local businesses, because everybody is struggling, and we know that people still have to eat. And so as much as you can to reach out to your favorite restaurants and cafes and local grocery stores and everyone in your neighborhood is really important and will make a difference.
Very well. Very well said. Much better than me. Marianne, thank you for your time. We will have to do some events together with Lapero when when times come back, when we can gather again and have a party with the H band, because that is just so nice to have this truck around when you have a party. It's just, how French people love Citroën, where you bring the best of the empanadas from Argentina, and we have the food truck. So it's always a pleasure to do things with you, and we're looking forward to have more events whenever the mayor and whenever things become more.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it too.
Very good. Marianne, merci beaucoup. À bientôt. Santé. Branding until the end. Thank you, Marianne. Be well, and we get some empanadas, and everybody get your empanadas, guys. You're gonna love it, and we want some feedback. If you have any feedbacks, if you have any questions, comments, don't hesitate to write them down. I will make sure to answer them. So if you have questions, let us know. We come back to you, and that video will be posted on YouTube as well. We have a YouTube video where we will post that on that. Okay, so if you come back to it, we share with your friends. Merci beaucoup. Gracias. Adios. Viva Messi. Viva Argentina. Viva Francia.
Bye.
Salut Marianne. Ciao, ciao. Be well.